Warning! Middle-aged Andy Wicks has tried everything to quit smoking, from going cold turkey to the latest choices in patches and nicotine chewing gums, so he figures he'll give this hypnosis thing a try. What's the worst that could happen? Unfortunately, he's dealt a fate worse than death: high school. He's transported back to 1985, and now Andy must relive his formative years as a gangly, awkward teenager. Is he doomed to relive the mistakes of his past, or has he been given a second chance to get things right? One thing's for sure: this time, he will not pass up the chance to ask out that girl he has a crush on from his math class. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom here on YouTube. I am your host, Jovan Menendez, and today I bring you a very quirky review, and of course I am referring to the book Too Cool to Be Forgotten. This is written by Alex Robinson, and really the best way I can describe this book is if you ever wanted to relive your past and have a very contemporary slice of life book examine that idea, this is sort of the thing for you. Alex has a really interesting talent for writing realistic, awesome characters that speak in the most human of ways. You got the character of Andy Wicks. He is plus 40. He's tried everything to cure his addiction to cigarette smoking. And as a last resort, his wife suggests to go to a hypnosis clinic thing and see if that works. Now, it's a very preposterous idea. Just like in real life, a lot of people think that doesn't work, and a lot of people actually do think it works. I'll leave it up to you. I'm not gonna say. But regardless of that, this story isn't really about that. Obviously, the character goes in and he's somehow magically transported back into 1985, and he has to relive his high school years and try to stop the one thing that he thinks can fix everything, which was when he started smoking. So he's going to try and fix his past. But if you do that, wouldn't the future or your present be damaged as a result? That is actually a very interesting question. Could the actions that you change in the past reflect on the new ones and erase what you've done and create a brand new path? Now, the book doesn't dwell on that too much. What this book does excel at, actually, is the human interactions. Alex has a really cool knack of writing realistic characters that, regardless of what time period they're on, they speak the truth. You hear them in your mind, and they sound really contemporary. Sure, they're going to be talking about stuff in the 80s, but if you switched the terms of and updated the technology, that dialogue could very well take place in modern time. And Alex has a really cool talent for doing that exact thing. Now, the character of Andy is actually pretty interesting. He's very similar to reluctant heroes that are put on this quest where they don't think it's gonna work, they're gonna give it a shot anyways. And through the course of the journey, they start realizing, like, hey, this actually could work. And I couldn't say, like, oh, these characters are superficious, these characters are not flawed. They are a very realistic ensemble of characters, and Alex, like I mentioned, is able to incorporate them into this book in a very funny way. Obviously, the book presents the art in a very cartoony, satirical way with black and white, very reminiscent of newspaper strips that do like a examination on life and do a lot of inside jokes and all that stuff. It's that type of material, but at the same time, it's never full of itself. It knows what it's doing, and Alex trusts a reader to have fun reading it. Part of what surprised me the most about this book is the fact that really it's not about fixing your past, but actually reevaluating your life and realizing the mistakes you've made and how you can improve them in your present life and how you can become a better person. And the character of Andy goes through that journey in a very spectacular and dramatic way. There is a scene towards the end where the plot, what we call the plot twist, actually changes the whole landscape, and you realize what the true nature of the story is. And it just hits you, man. If you feel it, you're gonna feel it, because this book brought all the feels and it's just a wonderful indie little book that I recommend to anybody if you want to have a fun time reading something out of the norm but very close to home. I personally have not experienced any of what this character experienced with the whole smoking and all that stuff, but you can relate because everybody experiences something similar where you wish you could change something in the past and maybe your life would have turned out differently. Then again, maybe it was meant to be this way. Maybe we're not supposed to change things. I don't know. I don't want to get too philosophical, I just want to review this book. So yeah, Too Cool to Be Forgotten, a great quirky title that I highly recommend. The art is actually cute and very whimsical. It's black and white, it's very introspective, the characters are well written, Alex knows his stuff, the dialogue is very crisp, real, and just oozing with characterization. I really love this. Some characters are a little bit fantastical, but that is life. You have fantastical people in your life, don't you? But yeah, I highly recommend it. Too Cool to Be Forgotten. Actually, I gotta give a big shout out to Mr. Jez Bragg, the Omni Dog himself. He wanted me to read this a long time ago, and it wasn't until one of his recent root beer reviews where he talked about it again and reminded me, hey, I actually need to pick up this book. Too Cool to Be Forgotten. A+, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to call it. It's a great book and you will enjoy it. As always, guys, you can follow me on your favorite social media platform from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and many more. Just type A Week in Geekdom and I'm there for you guys. Alright, I gotta go. I have more stuff to read and review, and I will catch you on our next episode. I can't control it.